Hey everyone, Spicy Toast Gaming here. Hope you're having a great day, and I hope this video can make it a little bit better. Today is patch notes day, so we're going to be breaking down all the new information that we got today and over the past couple days. So breaking down the new champion, new constellations, and all of the new content we're getting. Now, if you enjoy all the daily Path of Champions content, a like and subscribe is greatly appreciated, and let's get into it. So up first, we'll take a look at Vi. So for Vi, they did adjust some of her first star powers. So up here for Relentless Force, her new first star power, it's now when you draw a card, grant your strongest ally 1 power and impact. So the effect is still the same, but now the trigger is when you draw a card instead of round start. Now you're always drawing at least 1 card at round start, so you're getting the same minimum effect from this, but now you can build around getting extra draw, and this can work with like champion draw with Hero's Horn, or like spell draw, unit draw. As long as you are drawing any card, this will be triggering your star powers. So this is very good. And if we take a look at the 2-star, still the same, get 1+1 starting mana, game start, draw 2 cards that cost 2 or less. So if you're getting any powers that get you units immediately upon the start of the game, such as like gearing up, then potentially those units are going to get a bunch of stacks of, or at least your strongest unit, a bunch of stacks of health as well as impact. So that can be very good for you. Now your 3-star, pretty much the same. When you draw a card, grant your strongest ally 2 health and 2 impact. So same thing for your 3rd star power now, but again, that trigger is now drawing a card. So this is going to be much better, because before for Vi, drawing extra cards was good, but now you actually have some built-in synergies for that. And so you can now, while you're going through and building out your deck, looking at powers and evaluating what you want to get, now draw is much more important for you, and this should make her feel much stronger. Now for the 4-star that you're getting for Vi, it is Crush, allies have Overwhelm. Having Overwhelm as well as large amounts of impact is great. This is going to help you close out games a lot faster. And then for Vi herself, since she's going to have such a massive attack stat, her being able to punch through enemies with the Overwhelm is going to help do a lot of extra damage. Now for your 5th star, it is just the mana flow, get an extra mana gem. And then for the 6th star for Vi, we have We Run These Streets. So when you play a card, grant allies in hand 1 power. So this is essentially giving everyone in your hand the same scaling that Vi gets, because just every time you're playing all your small cards, which you're already trying to do to scale up your Vi, you're now scaling up your entire hand. Now this also is hitting Vi as well, so she's going to be able to scale up super fast. And one fun strategy you'll be able to do is throw on Gatebreaker for Vi. She can now sit in hand and just scale up, and then when you drop her, she can just nuke the Nexus. So this should be a pretty fun one, and overall a solid 6-star. Now Vi's starting deck is the same as far as the cards in there, but they did change some of the items. So up first, Eager Apprentice goes from Philosopher's Stone to Arcane Knowledge. Philosopher's Stone is just draw, but Arcane Knowledge is draw a spell. So still a nice draw upgrade to trigger your star powers, but actually getting a spell, which can be a lot better. Next up, Veteran Investigator goes from Shadow Totem to Coral Crush Gauntlets. This is a little bit sad, because this would give you 1 extra draw, but some of the developers mentioned that the ephemeral copy here was normally the target that was getting hit with your stacking buffs from your star powers, which is why they got rid of it. Coral Crush Gauntlets give you 1 extra power as well as Brash. Now for 24, your Mystic Shot, it goes from Hero's Horn and Hand Sensor to Hero's Horn and Charging Sigil. This will be very good, especially with your Eager Apprentice getting that Arcane Knowledge. Since they are able to draw a spell, you're more likely to get the Mystic Shot, which has Hero's Horn on it. So if you don't draw your Vi, you're more likely to have another way to get her. And getting rid of the Hand Sensor for Charging Sigil for more damage is going to be a solid upgrade. And Hero's Horn, that counts as drawing your champion, so again, a way to trigger your star powers. Now the Gotcha goes from Hextech Fabricator plus Elixir of Skill to just Hextech Fabricator. So they are getting rid of a little bit of draw there, so that's a little sad. But then your Patrol Wardens is going from Savage Shield to Savage Shield plus Mischievous Spirit. So that's all the changes to Vi, but we also have her Epic Relic that we can take a look at. So this is the Epic Relic that should be coming with Vi, Cease and Desist. So 3 impact, and then play if you have 10 or more power, give me Barrier, and start a free attack challenging the strongest enemy. So this is going to be great for Vi, because you want to be playing her for 10 power already. Now she can hit the board, challenge, and take out hopefully the strongest enemy target. That will have her strike for the 10 damage, so that will fulfill her level up condition. And free attacks are always solid. This will be great. And this is a relic that you can potentially use on some other champions as well, such as like a Volibear or Elder Dragon, so this should be a fun time. But that's it for Vi. Let's go take a look at Caitlyn. So Caitlyn is the new champion we're getting. For her first star power, we have your traps deal double damage. So out of the gate, very solid, just first star power. Also, this is traps, not flash bombs. So anything else that counts as a trap, such as like a puff cap, will also be increased from your star powers. Really nice here that they actually made this fairly broad so that you're not necessarily just confined to flash bombs. You can build around having other synergies as well. So getting like Teemo as a support champion or building around puff caps will be pretty great for you. Now your 2-star, very good. +1 starting mana. When an ally is summoned or attacks, plant a flash bomb trap in the top 8 cards of the enemy deck. This is very nice because for one, it's just giving you passive flash bomb trap generation every time you're attacking or summoning a unit. But the other great thing about this is it's broad enough that this is giving you more things to think about when you're building and when you're looking at what cards to pick up, what support champions, because now you're looking for anyone that has free attacks, scout, rallies, any of that is now really good for you. And also anyone that just is summoning a bunch of units. So like a Azir with all his ephemerals. These are just things you can think about building around in order to get more flash bombs. So this seems very well designed in my opinion. Now the 3-star, your traps deal triple damage. So massive increase to all of your traps. Again, great, this is broad and not just flash bombs. Now, as far as your 4-star, we have Game Start Summon Sting Officer. Now, this is excellent for you. For one, Sting Officer, elusive unit, and this also is a unit that has Nexus Strike, plant flash bombs in the enemy deck. This also is a card that, little bit of spoiler, is in your starting deck, so this can potentially get items on it. This can be a solid unit gained right at the start of the game. And remember, from your 2nd star power, when an ally is summoned or attacks. So you're summoning a unit at the start of the game, that is going to give you flash bombs. Every time they attack, they're also putting more flash bombs. And then since this unit has Nexus Strike, they're able to also plant more flash bombs in the enemy deck. So overall so far, this is seeming fantastic. Now the 5-star, Mana Flow, get an extra mana gem. Simple, straightforward. The big thing here is since you'll start with 3 mana, that means you can play your Caitlyn round 1, so that's great. Now the 6-star, Perfect Aim. Round start, create a ace in the hole in your hand if you don't have one. So this can just create one every single round potentially. And then when one of your traps activates, reduce its cost by 1. So here's the card right here. It will zoom out a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. So 5 cost slow. So if you get slow but steady, this can go off twice. This has overwhelm, so any excess damage hits the enemy nexus. Deal 10 damage to an enemy. If there are no enemies, deal 10 damage to the nexus instead. So this is like a better version of the laser that Lux is able to generate. And this also has 50% chance to critically strike. So this is essentially a new keyword kind of. And the developers have confirmed that critically strike is double damage. So it has a 50% chance to do 20 damage to an enemy or 20 damage to the enemy nexus. Now this is a 5 cost, but this will be getting reduced down by all of your traps. So you'll be able to play this pretty regularly, giving you even more insane levels of removal and nexus damage. Now, if that wasn't all crazy enough, Vi also has an epic relic that seems incredible. So power, game start, plant 6 flash bomb traps in the top 8 cards of the enemy deck. So this is just happening immediately upon start of the game. And then when a flash bomb trap misses, plant it back in the top 8 cards of the enemy deck. This is going to be fantastic. One issue you can run into flash bombs is the enemy drawing cards when they don't have any units. All your flash bombs go off and they hit absolutely nothing. This just keeps that from happening. So anytime they're going to miss, they can just immediately get shuffled back, ready to hit the enemy. This is also going to be great for your 6-star because for one, you're getting more flash bomb traps immediately. And so you can just count down those ace in the holes even faster. And then just make sure all your flash bomb traps are dealing that damage. And I think that when these miss, it's still going to count as activating. So these can all come out. Even if they hit nothing, they will still give you that cost reduction for your ace in the hole because your trap's activated. And then they get shuffled back, ready to do it again at every round start. Now, this is going to be a very niche relic. So you're only really going to use this for Caitlyn, but this does seem incredible. Now for Caitlyn, we do also have one of the pieces of her constellation. So you see here, Star of Legends, your support champs have Sheriff of Piltover. So when I'm summoned, create Sheriff of Piltover in your hand. Now what this card is it puts a flash bomb trap on every single card in the enemy deck. So that is absolutely insane. Getting this on your support champion is going to be massive and just makes everything else in your kit feel even better because you just always guaranteed to have at least one flash bomb trap activating every single round. Very, very good upgrade to your constellation. Now, we do also have her entire starting deck. Now, we don't know what items are going to be on here, but the starting deck is incredible. So up first, House Swamp. This, when you play it, is able to put flash bomb traps in the enemy deck. Advanced Intel, this puts flash bombs in the enemy deck and lets you draw one. Flash Bomb Peddler, this is the same as like the Puff Cat Peddler, so whenever you play a spell, this puts flash bombs in the enemy deck. Sting Officer, which you're already summoning from your 4th star power, and he also has Nexus Strike, plant flash bombs. We have our champion, Caitlyn, who also plants flash bombs. Double Agent, this has the strike effect of both players draw one. So you're able to get extra draw, great, but then you're making the enemy draw to make them have to get hit with more flash bombs. You have your Pilt over Peacemaker. This is Caitlyn's champion spell, which deals damage, also gives you more flash bombs, and always having your champion spell in your starting deck is amazing because then that can get items on it. We have Justice Rider, which every time the enemy draws a card, they get more flash bombs put in their deck. And then Officer Squad, which generates a spell for you to make the enemy draw multiple cards to again activate all those flash bombs. So this is a incredible starting deck. This is potentially like the best starting deck we've ever seen. Every single one of your cards except 2 is planting flash bombs in the enemy deck, and then those 2 cards are making the enemy draw to get hit with more flash bombs. Also, the fact that you have the Sting Officer that you're summoning from your 4th star power and your champion spell in your starting deck is incredible. Caitlyn seems like she's going to be absolutely busted. Moving on then, we have some new epic relics coming in Golden Reliquaries, as you can see right here. So big guns, power, your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage. So this is essentially a upgraded form of Luden's Tempest. Luden's, your champion has to be on the board for that damage to increase. Here, this is just a power, so even if your champion's not on the board, you can still have this effect going off, so this will be very nice. Next up, we have Living Weapon, and this seems insane. So play, attack, and round start, Forge Me. Now, Forge Me grants your unit 1/1 as far as stats. If they have an equipment, it buffs up that equipment by 1/1 instead. That way, even if the unit dies, that equipment can be put on someone else to also get those buffs. This is going to be excellent, obviously, for any equipment decks, but even without equipment decks, just any champion, especially any cheap champion that you just want to get buffed up, this is going to be insane, because you play them, they get 1/1, you attack with them, they get another 1/1, and then at round start, they get 1/1. So being able to put this on a champion you play like round 1, like a Teemo, Diana, Jax, any of those, and they're just getting these massive stat increases. This is also going to be very good for champions that want to attack a lot, such as like a Vayne. So this is going to be incredible. Next up, we have Frozen Tomb. Game start, summon a Storm-Carved Spire with countdown 4, summon me. So this is a landmark that's going to be put in your board that has your champion inside of it. So after countdown 4, your champion gets summoned. This is going to be a great way to cheat out some of your champions early, such as like your Elder Dragon, making sure you can just get him on the board guaranteed after 4 rounds is decent. But then also this can be pretty good for some champions like Talia that are able to count down landmarks. So this will be an interesting one. Next up then we have Hidden Tome. Power, when you summon or level up a champion, refill your spell mana. Now this actually should say when you play. They do have it noted down here. So Hidden Tome is a play, not a summon effect. So it is misworded right here. So when you summon or level up a champion, refill your spell mana. This is essentially just a better version of Lost Chapter, and this will be good for everyone that currently uses Lost Chapter. Especially good for Nidalee, since she's able to level up and down multiple times. So she'll probably get the most out of this, but still will be a decent relic. Next up then we have Loaded Dice. So 3 rerolls plus 10% chance to find epic powers and items. This is going to be excellent for any of those champions that want to have more of a passive build and you don't really plan on playing them. So this is going to be great for like Darius, potentially even Lux, the original. Some of those champions that you can just ignore the champion, go for passive relics on them, and still do absolutely fantastic. So this will be great to further enable those playstyles. Next up then we have Stacked Deck, so 200 starting gold, Power, allies have 1/1 for every 12 cards in your deck, past 18 at game start. So you start the game actually with 18 cards. So as long as you're going out and getting a lot more cards, your units will all get bigger and bigger. This will be a great way to just buff up all of your units. And this will be better in those adventures where you don't have a lot of chance to cut cards. So like the Lysandra adventure, for example. Now this will still be fairly niche. Quite often you're still going to want to have your deck be cut down and a little bit more consistent. But if you want to go for a whole bunch of cards, this will be a great relic to enable that and give you just some board-wide scaling. Now with the new content, we're also getting new bundles. So as you see right here, they have a Vi and Relic combo bundle. So they say here, this bundle includes everything needed to upgrade both Vi and Caitlyn to 4 stars, plus additional resources for enhancing P&Z champions. So you're going to get a whole bunch of shards for both Caitlyn and Vi. In addition, both of them are then having celebration bundles. That's where you're going to get fragments to unlock them, level them up a bit, and where both of their epic relics should be. And then both of them will have a 5-star bundle. So pretty standard and normal. Now, as far as some other changes and kind of bug fixes, here they're saying stabilize power got changed to a play effect, but this change kind of happened previously. Now, as far as changed relics, Jace's Hextech battery now refills your mana after the cost to play the champion has been paid when you play a champion that's going to level immediately. This is really nice. Before, for Jace, when you try to play him, you'd normally be spending like 2 mana on him, and so he'd be refilling all of your mana other than that 2 mana you had to pay for him. Now that's not going to be happening anymore, so just a buff to the Jace Hextech battery, which is quite nice. And then big right here, so for the Emporium, Yasuo's Windblade is no longer available, but Big Guns, one of the relics that we saw previously, and Starforged Gauntlets is now available. So this is fantastic. Now, since this is in the Emporium, you're probably going to have to spend real money for these. So little unfortunate that Starforged Gauntlets hasn't been made available for free-to-play players yet, but it is good that people still have the option in order to get it. And then last up, for some bug fixes, fixed an issue where the Targon and Bandle City champions with Yumi's Celestial Bounty unlocked were granted 1 reroll instead of the 5 starting Nexus health. Fixed an issue where the wings of the Cryo Phoenix would not have the gold glowing indicator when the player was enlightened. Fixed an issue where Viego's Harrowed Path power did not count aura buffs towards units dying total power. Fixed an issue where Pike's Star Power Phantom Hall didn't correctly tag and highlight round start on the constellation screen. And then the big one, fixed an issue where Swain's power Crush the Weak did not grant the extra 5 damage to the Nexus if Swain's Raven army was used against a deadly or vicious enemy. So nice that we got some of those bug fixes, and then overall what we're getting in this path seems absolutely incredible. Vi is going to be way better than before, and Caitlyn looks fantastic. Then we're also getting a bunch of new epic relics that we can get in golden reliquaries to spice things up and just enable some more build crafting options. Overall, I think this is another W patch for Riot. Well done. Look forward to testing it out. We will be streaming it all live over on Twitch as soon as the patch is live. So if you want to see immediate coverage, go ahead and check that out. There's a link to that down below. But then, as always, we will be posting videos of all of the content here on the YouTube channel. Now, if you're enjoying all the content, like and subscribe is greatly appreciated. I hope you have a great rest of your day.